Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate. It is a first down. Pirates. Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it. I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there. You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And a triple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to the Sports Objective, the Pirate Football Playback. I am Dave Richmond, and ladies and gentlemen, Kyle from LaGrange Barber. How are you?
What's going on, guys? The Pirates take care of business last night against the Campbell Camels to get to 1-1 on the season. Very dominating kind of workman-like performance, but it's what you want. I would have liked to see some more explosive runs, but overall, we did what we were supposed to do and blew out Campbell.
No doubt. Welcome in Matt Simmons, a former linebacker for the Pirates under Steve Logan. What's up, Matty Ice?
What's up, fellas? Happy to be here, and I'll tell you, I'm very happy with the performance yesterday. I think that obviously Campbell is not some juggernaut of a team, but bottom line is you've seen ECU teams over the years play down to their competition,
right.
And I thought yesterday we were a prepared football team. I think Blake had them ready to go, and I think we played a complete game, and we handled our business. We did what we had to do. And so I'm excited about it and ready for another big one next week, guys, at Coastal.
Stevie Fly, what's up, brother?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Good. Glad to have you, man, as always. And let's also bring in Johnny Stats. And the most important stat, Johnny, 56-3, right?
That's it, man. That's the largest margin of victory since we beat Edenton, the Edenton Flyers, 67-0 in 1949. So, pretty good accomplishment.
They were a powerhouse too. The Edenton team.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, that was my first year at ECU. I was a freshman. I remember that very well. I was there on the front row with no shirt on that said E. But anyway, great win for the Pirates as they get a big victory, 56-3, as we were talking about. And I tell you what, guys, we'll break down the game. But I guess what we can do is start off with is I'll start off with Kyle. I'm going to get your thoughts, and then I'll give mine towards the end, but just wanted to see what you thought overall. I know you took a lot of notes like I did, so I'll give you the floor.
Just overall thoughts on the game.
Yeah.
Thought Caden Hauser played great. Thought he played great the first two games of the year. Couldn't really ask for any more from him. Thought receivers played well. A lot of guys caught balls. Running game was better than it was last week. Still big concern. You're playing a Campbell. I would have liked to seen us gash them for some big runs, and we did not. So it's a bit concerning to me. Defense, through 2 weeks, our defense seems to be at the right place every time, and we tackle well. I thought Spalding has some big plays again. Last offensive score, the young man from Texas, the freshman quarterback. I thought he looked really good. Yes, I thought he looked really good. Was expecting to see Jeter, and apparently this kid has been lighting up at practice. So I thought he looked good. Overall, just pleased. Again, I'm still a little concerned about the running game situation. I think we got to find the right rotation there at running back, which I know something Matt's talked about also, and we'll talk about more. But overall, pleased and looking forward to the Coastal game. You lose to North Carolina State. You play well in the second half, but you lose. beating Coastal really doesn't do anything for you from a confidence standpoint, at least not me. So I'm ready to go on the road, go down the Coastal, and hopefully take care of business against Chanticleers. And, that to me, this was what it was. There was no way you're going to be excited about beating Campbell. There's no way. You're glad to see us play well, but I've seen tons of good ECU teams play poorly against FCS opponents, and
Yeah.
was glad to see us play well, but really anxious to see us go on the road to Conway this coming Saturday.
Matt, what was your take on it? I know that I told you, Kyle, that I wanted Alan Vick is watching the show and listening. And I told him last night in the practice box what I told you. I wanted a boring game. And that's what I mean by a boring game, where it was decided pretty much in the first half. And Matt, don't you want a boring game unless you're like flipping around the tube and you're trying to find a game that's competitive? This is kind of what you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing, especially early in the season, to have a game like this against an FCS opponent where you can kind of get your legs under you a little bit. And, but I'll just kind of give you guys big picture thoughts on the whole thing. I thought that the crowd looked great on TV. I wasn't able to go to the game yesterday, living so far away, but the crowd looked great on TV. I thought the field looked fantastic, as it always does. I observed that I think that we've done something. We've stepped up our ESPN Plus production this offseason because there were more camera angles and just seemed like a better production overall. So I was pleased with that. And then in terms of the on-field performance, like I said, I thought Blake had them ready to go. Really, I thought the guys came out, fired up, ready to play. I thought they executed. You saw last week we got off to the very slow start in the first half. And this week it was the opposite. The first half, the first drive, less than 2 minutes right down the field for a quick touchdown. And before you knew it, we had 14 points on the board. It seemed like, almost immediately. And so that's what you want. When you play an inferior opponent like Campbell, and let's call them what they are. They're not a good football team, and that's fine. That's okay. But the bottom line is we took care of our business. We didn't play down to the competition. And I think that's a great thing. And I think it is a confidence builder for this team just to kind of get the bad taste out of their mouths from last week and then move forward to a big game down in Conway. So I was thrilled with the whole day. Anytime your defense holds somebody to 3 points, that's a good thing. And then when you can score, 54 or was it 56? Sorry.
56.
56. That's a hell of a day too. So I'll take it and build on it, and let's go back to work.
Really quick, Kenny says, bringing in Johnny and Stevie, whoever wants to go first. Kenny Curling says defense only gave up 151 total yards, 4 yards rushing, and two turnovers. That's strong. Yeah, and they only I'm going to – obviously, Johnny – for 2 games now, 13.5 points. We've given total points we've given up in 2 weeks on defense. I'm not going to keep going. I'm going to stop while I'm behind, but whoever wants to go next can go next.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. Hey, the only time I was worried last night, Matt said, you never know the opening drive. We kind of struggled. Well, we definitely struggled in Raleigh for the entire first quarter, but, we were in a 3rd and 5 on our first set of downs. And then we threw it to Smith for 7 yards, got a first down. That was the last time I was worried. I didn't want to punt. I didn't want to go 3 and out. So yeah, I was biting some nails at that point. But after that, it was great. It was stress free. I love how we use 90 different players that played. And I felt like when some of the reserves came in, the intensity did not let up. I felt like everybody wanted to go into the game and prove that they belonged there. And that's what I was really taken by, was just the overall intensity of these guys getting, a chance to play when they're not, normally in the rotation. And the defense, like Kenny had a great stat there for the defense. And I'll add that we had 10 tackles for loss against NC State, and then we had 9 more last night. So, 19 tackles for loss with a total of 66 negative yards. If we continue that trend, that's going to go a long way in helping the situation.
No doubt.
Yeah, here you go. Hey, Stevie, I'll bring you in, Stevie. Robert Dedrick says Coastal has 0 passing TDs. How about that? What do you think? What were your thoughts, Stevie, about last night's
Yeah,
game?
the up-tempo offense looked really good last night. I was really pleased with that, how we went out of it. I'm like Johnny, that first drive, once we got that 3rd and 5, we never looked back. Um, Running game, yeah, that does concern me a little bit, but I'll tell you what, I know he got in late in the game, but the Engelman kid, the way he ran the ball, as hard as he ran the ball when he got in, I liked the way he ran the ball. But one thing we got to cut out, if you could find one kink in the armor, I guess, penalties, 10 penalties for 84 yards. And, early on in the game, when the game, I guess you could say the game was still in doubt, when Six Killer, I had to say that name one time tonight, Six Killer drops back to pass, and Craig grabs him, goes by him, and then reaches out after he's already by him and grabs his face
Yeah.
mask. Stupid penalty. But yeah, and once again, Spalding sparks the offense, gets a big play, and the offense just rolls after that. But yeah, it all in all, except for that penalty stuff, I was pretty pleased with what I saw last night.
No doubt, guys. And there's a stat, and Johnny helped me out on this, but last night at the press conference, 15 different guys caught a pass, and they were
Yeah.
double checking if that's a school record or not. Can I pass it to you on that one, by the way?
Sure. I mean, I don't know about a school. I don't keep track of like records.
Oh, okay.
That minute, obscure, but I can tell you that through the first 2 games, we've had 22 players either throw a pass, catch a pass, or run the football. And last year we only had 19 different players that were able to do that for the entire 13-game season. So we're well ahead of schedule.
Wow.
Yeah. So I like it. I mean, we're deep. It's
No
great.
doubt.
Also, probably bowed how bad Campbell is.
Yeah.
You can say that, but
They were awful.
again, they were not good. But at the same time, like Matt said, and you guys have said, remember 2019 Charleston Southern. You can go back 2017 and 18 where we lose to a FCS opponent. So for me, I was happy because it was 56-3. We did
21 was Charleston Southern.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
20. My bad. 21. Charleston Southern. And we were sweating there for a while. So
Oh yeah.
this is one that we did what we were supposed to do. And I heard some fans say last night, and I know what they mean, but they're like, it's Campbell. We did what we do. But look, 56 points. I'll take it. When we've struggled and lost to FCS, they only scored 3 points. So the defense is one of the takeaways for me, guys. The defense looked way better. I was really happy that they didn't really make it competitive. They pretty much did what they had to do, and we got out of there.
Defenses looked remarkably good. Really, even against NC State in the first half, they were on the field so damn much.
Yeah.
And NC State, by the way, anybody watch NC State UVA?
Oh, yeah.
NC State's got a damn good offense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
does
do.
UVA for that matter. But I'm actually, I don't want to be too bullish on the defense just yet. But so far, what I see out of this defense, and Matt, I'd love to get your thought on it. I'm not seeing anybody that stands out to me as superstars. I'm not, there's not, 1 or 2 players to me that I'm like, oh my God, those are the, it's Pernell Griffin and Van Eskridge or whatever. I just throw 2 names out from ECU Pass. But what I see is a defense that plays together, pursues to the ball, tackles extremely well, and seems to be in position where they're supposed to be pretty much every play.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. Like what I like about this defense is they're always in attack mode. You see a lot of different exotic looks, and they're always mixing up their fronts and their coverages, and they're attacking. And I think this defense does run to the ball really well. We have some speed. You look at some of the great ECU defenses of the past, and you had a lot of bigger guys, linebackers who were 245, 250 pounds. And you look at this team, and definitely not the same size, but we have guys that can really run to the ball. And I think, they seem to be really bought in. Like they seem to be bought into the system. And you're right. I think you make a good point. Guys are in position. In particular, the secondary to me has I think probably impressed me the most because they have been in position and they've tackled well. Outside of the one deep ball at NC State, you really haven't seen any busts in coverage,
Right.
that have led to big plays down the field, which is awesome to see. And Gene, I thought made some really nice tackles in the open field yesterday. And look, we are rotating a ton of guys, and I do like that to a point on defense. Like I like a rotation. Obviously yesterday was an extreme rotation considering the opponent, but I like what I see so far. I got to say, I've been pleasantly surprised. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to tell you guys is the fact that we got under your in your era, Matt, under Coach Logan. One of the things Coach always talked about, obviously on air, off air, is he took pride in playing a lot of players. I thought it was good that another observation I had, I want to get y'all's take on this too. I'll pass around the horn, was the fact that Houston would have waited to sometime in deep in the fourth quarter, but we actually got a chance to. I know that we probably didn't have Johnny, you can help me out. We didn't have that kind of lead in the Houston era, but I was really happy to see quarterbacks being played in garbage time. More, we had Mike Wright and what was the kid's name again from Texas? I'm trying to.
Chaston Ditta.
Ditta?
Ditta.
Ditta.
Not to be
D-I-T-T-A.
confused with. I'll just tell you, Johnny, really quick. I didn't mean to cut you off. There was a funny call last night on the Pirate Radio post-game show, and it was a guy who kept referring to him as Ditka.
Yeah, I heard that.
I was ready to go with Diddy.
And I think Clip said, "This isn't Mike Ditka. This is Chaston Ditta." So I thought that was great. But go ahead, Johnny. I had to just throw that.
Oh no, I was done.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. The number of players and on offense, I know the running game. We had 172 yards rushing, and how many yards? It was well over 300, right, Johnny? Passing. It was five. Was it
512 overall, wasn't it?
Yeah. Caden Hauser. I mean, that guy is crazy.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Like the NC State game, he had 8 yards in the first quarter passing. And then he had over 100 yards passing in the second, third, and fourth quarter. And then against Campbell, he had over 100 yards passing in the first quarter and the second quarter, and had 71 in the third quarter when they brought in Mike Wright to replace him. So, I mean, he's played 6 full quarters of football and thrown for 100+ yards in 5 of them. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Alan Vick has a song he's working on right now, guys. I don't know if we'll have it ready by the end of the show, but if we do, AV, then let me know. He's in the studio right now. A little ditto about Jack and Diane. So
A little ditto about Jack and Diane. There you go. That's
2 American kids growing up the best they can.
Doing the best they can.
Doing the
Yeah,
best they can, that's right.
I had a point I was going to make before the John Mellencamp reference. So last night, what were we just talking about, JR? What were you talking about before that?
What was I talking about? I was talking about
somebody
Caden
talked
Hauser.
about something I wanted to.
Hauser.
Yeah. So Hauser, to me, he seems very confident. He seems to have a really good grasp on the offense and what he wants to do with the ball. He can be a streaky player at times. So right now he's on a hot streak. That needs to continue. But he just looks very confident. And even in the first half against North Carolina State, when he struggled early in that game, I don't really put a lot of that on him. The O-line was struggling. We couldn't get anything going with the running game. So, no, yeah, your point about Hauser and everybody's point about Hauser, so far so good. He'll get some pressure. Look, Coastal next weekend, and we'll talk about that more later in the show and a lot more on Wednesday. Coastal brings a lot of pressure. I didn't watch the play against Charleston Southern, but I did against UVA, and I watched that defense at Louisiana Tech last year, the defensive coordinator here from La Tech, and they blitz a lot. So Hauser will get some pressure next weekend on him. We'll have to see how he reacts to that. NC State, of course, blitzed him quite a bit too. But, no, so far so good from Caden Hauser. I really, you don't want to – I'm always cautious about pumping people up too much. It's still early. But if this continues, look, 2 things that will take you a long way. Good quarterback play and good defense. And if we can keep those 2 things going, we'll win more than we lose this year.
And, guys, I would add to that, if you don't believe that, to add to Kyle's point, if you don't believe quarterback play is important, the Jeter, listen to me, Garcia and Garcia show from last year, 23 and 24. That will tell you how good, I said last night off air to Alan Vick, I said, can you imagine if we had Hauser start like all of it? I'm a Hauser fan. I was bought in when he was first brought here and he didn't start. I was upset about that. And, I had forgotten, and Alan, hope you don't mind me saying this because we're having a private conversation, but I had forgotten Houston was just really pumped up about Garcia. And he's telling everybody, the media off air at a press conference before the beginning of the season that, man, Garcia, he's like, he looks great. And he's just like so jacked up. And to think about if we had, speaking of turnovers, guys, no turnovers in 2 games.
Hey, Dave, that's a first time that's happened this century. How about that? We have never done that in this century, gone 2 games without a turnover. And we've also never had a quarterback throw for 300 plus yards without an interception in the first 2 games. So those both are first times this century occurrences.
Yeah, let's see if we can do it 3 times in a row. No hexes, no jinx. Let's see if we can do it 3 games in a row for the first time this century.
Guys, I just want to point out 2 throws. Speaking of Hauser, big time throws that he made last night. And we talk like Pro Football Focus. I think they make like they have some stat that's like, a big time throw or however they phrase it. But first possession of the game. All right. Very first possession. Hauser's in the pocket. He gets pressure in his face from our left tackle. So if it came from the left side, he stands tall in the pocket. Yannick Smith is running what appeared. I think he was trying to run like a post, but he carried it all the way across the field. And Hauser, if you go back and watch, he put perfect amount of touch on the ball where he put it over the linebacker's outstretched arm and he just dropped it in.
You talk about the floater he did.
Yeah, it was a floater, and it was.
I know exactly what you're talking about now in the first half.
Big time throw, guys. Go back and watch that first possession.
That ball seemed like it was in the air for half of the day. I was like,
I know.
and I'll tell you what,
the guy, I don't think the guy from Campbell would have made the play, but he fell down too. But he put it right in the breadbasket. It was a great throw.
Fantastic. And then, the throw to Spalding, I really want to talk about tonight. Was a beauty. Spalding ran like what appeared to be, he showed like he was going to run a slant and then he broke it off and just like a slant and go and a money throw. But, Hauser, and just kind of piggybacking on your guys' point here about how good he's played. He's looked fantastic. I mean, he looks composed. He just looks very calm back there to me. Like he just looks more mature in the pocket even. And I'll tell you, he really runs the speed option well in the red zone. We've seen 2 touchdowns now where we ran speed option to the boundary inside the 10-yard line. And he even ran that play well last year, the few times we did it.
Yeah, I'd like to see it more.
And if you're worried about him taking hits, running the speed option, that's a great spot to use Mike Wright, where you sneak him in there and you run speed option with Mike Wright. So just some things to look for. But yeah, just to your point, I mean, the kid's playing fantastic, and it's nice to see.
Guys, there was a time, my only negative that I had for Hauser, it was, I believe, in the third quarter. I don't have my notes right in front of me, but I think it was third quarter. We're driving to the Murphy Center Inn. He has a chance he threw the ball instead of, if he had.
Oh God, he would have picked up the first down and maybe even scored.
Yeah.
Instead, he throws it. There was I actually thought he was over the line of scrimmage. And it turns out they were looking at a PI, but they didn't call it because the ball was uncatchable. Yes, particularly being that was a situation where you could have ran for the first down and it put us in a 4th and 1, and we got it anyway. But yeah, that was a bad decision on his part, and maybe it was because it was against Campbell. The game was out of hand, but that's what got him in trouble last year when he threw his picks. It was trying to do things, trying to make a play, trying to make the play instead of making a play, and he did it there. It didn't cost us anything, but that is in a close game or this week on the road against Coastal even. You can't do that. But yeah, you were right. That is a glaring. But you know what? He didn't turn the ball over there.
Right, right.
He didn't get us a penalty there, but that was a bad decision on his part.
As the show says, I'm just being objective because that was the one that I saw that really stood out when he had, I think it was a 4th and 2, and he needed like 2 yards, and he had plenty of daylight. He could have got 3 or 4. And
It was 3rd down. It put us in a 4th down.
okay, but yeah, that's right. It was 3rd down.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was my only criticism of Hauser. And again, that's not a big one because the game was already out of hand. But like you said, Kyle, I was thinking about that very thing. If we're playing Coastal, and look, man, you just need the first down. Don't worry about trying. You made the great point, Kyle. Don't try to make this awesome. And Stevie, maybe you can help me being a head coach. You don't need to make this like glorious throw. All you need is the first down right there. And he had plenty of daylight. It wasn't like he's faster than people give him credit for. He could have easily picked up the first down and moved the chains and then, like run the ball. But I want to get your Stevie. I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, definitely. You take what they give you there. Yeah, but he wanted to make something happen. Like you said, he knew the game was out of touch. I think he just wanted to make something happen. But close game, you better run for that first down if you think you got it. You don't take that chance. But I remember that play. But
I'll tell you a play that bothered me, and I don't remember if it was a speed option, and this ain't on Hauser. This is, well, it could be on Hauser depending on if he called that play or if it came from the sideline. But when the game was put away in the 3rd quarter, Hauser's last possession, he ran down towards the red zone. I can't remember if it was a speed op. He carried the ball. He didn't pitch it. I don't know if it was designed run. I can't remember the exact play. But I'm sure you guys remember what I'm talking about. And why would you do it unless he did that on his own?
It was on his own.
You're talking about
in the press conference, they talked about that.
Well, he shouldn't even been in the game. I would have pulled him already. I'd had Mike right in at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, we pulled him right after that, and it was probably because of that sequence of plays. He said, "Let's get him out of there." But yeah, well, on his own, okay. But he shouldn't even been in the game at that point.
The announcers talked about that, Kyle, on TV, and they were like, they were kind of going back and forth, like when he was going to come out of the game, and they were surprised he was in so long. But yeah, when he took that hit with the game long over, I was saying to myself, I'm like, God, get him off the field. It's not worth, risking injury to this guy right now as well as he's playing. Let's get the backup some work. So maybe a possession too long, but it is what it is. Guys, what about the one thing I want to talk about is I'm just going to kind of jump in here, the running back situation. And I really want to get all your thoughts on this. I think, yesterday it was fine rotating. Let's forget about the 4th and 5th running back that came in garbage time. Let's just look at the first 3.
Boy, people like that last running back that was in, Matt. We're going to have to talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you, like, the point I want to make is that yesterday it was fine considering the opponent, but I am not a fan of this 3 running back system. And at some point you have to drill it down to 2. And I'm just a firm believer, and we've talked about this many times, but as a running back is a rhythm position. You need carries and you need to get a feel for it. We talk about, I think Kyle used the term, you got to work up a lather, right? As a running back,
them up,
get yourself in the flow. And I think running back in some ways is kind of like a basketball player, right? You might miss your first 5 shots, but then you make your first one and then you make 5 in a row. It's a rhythm type position. And I don't like this 3-back rotation. And I don't know if maybe they're just trying to keep everybody happy. And it's cool for now. Like, look, we played Campbell. I get it. But when we get to even next week, we got to get this thing down to 2, in my opinion. And when we get to BYU, we can't just be rotating running backs like this. I don't think that's a sustainable approach. It's good to have a lot of them, but I just don't think you can use this many and be effective. What do you guys think about that? I'll just kind of
I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that very thing. Is it, Stevie, help me out on this? Is it a situation where maybe Kyle too? I know that's your favorite room, about special situations. So like you have a Marlon Gunn Jr. is not going to be the same as London Montgomery, is not going to be the same as Parker Jenkins. So maybe the way that you keep them happy is you have a third down back, or you have a guy that's a goal line specialist, or you have different packages for different guys. But I agree with Matt when he was talking about it's kind of like if you're a basketball coach and you have a rotation, you don't want to be rotating and have 13 guys unless you're way ahead and you're trying to give guys that work hard in practice and give them experience. You're going to cut your rotation down to a lot of times like 8 or 9 guys. I know it's a football show. We're doing about the Pirate football playback, but I agree with you 1,000%, Matt, on that. So I think that my thing is, I think that once by the time we get to the BYU game, I think after next week, we'll kind of see that happening. And the Marlon, it's probably more or less, I'm curious to see Marlon Gunn, by the way, guys, looked really, really healthy. The best he's looked since his freshman year. I thought he was really banged up last year. It wasn't his play. He was just not healthy. We kept hearing in the spring how great he looked, and you just think that it's overhyped from the program. He looked great. But Stevie, how about you? What are you thinking about when it comes to rotation of a running back when it's probably going to go from 3 to 2 in the next game or two, I think?
Well, you definitely want your change of pace backs. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and for a long time during the Cowher years, that was their thing. You'd have Willie Parker, the fast Willie Parker, as they called him. You'd have him get in there in the first part of the game. He'd start, and then to finish out the game, you bring your closer in. You bring the bus. You bring Rob Bettis in.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, and back in the glory days when I had enough for, enough players on my team, I had a power backfield and I had a speed backfield, and I'd start out with that speed backfield for about a quarter and a half, and to finish out the second quarter, I would put my power guys in and just give them that change of pace like you want to. But I'm definitely with Matt. You've got to narrow it down, and it could be about keeping guys happy, but it comes a point in time where you've got to make a decision. And I like the basketball reference, Matt, because that's exactly what I think. Getting them in rhythm, because if you keep switching these guys out, they're going to sit on the sidelines, and it's just like starting over again when you get them back out over the field, just like getting their rhythm back. But you got to keep 1 or 2 out there and get their rhythm.
Well, what I want to know is, who do we trust? I haven't figured that out yet. I agree we need a primary back, then your secondary back, and then I like what we did with Rajay last year a lot once Blake took over, where you saw Rajay a lot early, and then you saw the other 2 backs kind of third quarter, and then Rajay would come back more and be used a lot more in the fourth quarter. But who do you trust? Is it London Montgomery to be your primary back? Is it Parker Jenkins to be your primary back? Is it Marlon Gunn to be your primary back? I don't know the answer to that. I feel like Montgomery's got your most explosive ability. Gunn, if he's healthy, should be the most durable. Matt, back to you, and then JR, get your thoughts on it too. Who would you make? You talk about rotating it down to 2 right now, Matt. Who would be your 2, and who would you start?
So here's kind of how I see this thing working. I think Gunn is our best short yardage running back. So I really like Gunn in situations where it's like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. He looks really good in those like goal line situations that we talked about, the speed option earlier, where he can run with power. I think he's kind of your power back. He's not as fast as the others, I don't think. So I see Gunn as kind of that short yardage role, and I think he'll do really well in that role. Which that leads me. So you talk about who's the 2, right?
Yeah.
I don't see these guys every day in practice. Based on what I've seen, to me, it's going to be Montgomery and Parker Jenkins. Based on what I've seen, those would be my primary 2, and I think they both bring a little different skill set. Like I think Montgomery brings that speed element, right? And then I think Parker Jenkins can. You saw him on that touchdown last night. I think it was about 18, 20-yard touchdown. He showed the ability to cut. He made a nice cut or 2.
Yep.
And
1 yard in.
Yeah, it was a really nice run. So I like to see that. He showed a little speed, a little burst there for a bigger back. So I think those would be my two. And I think Montgomery would be Marlon Gunn would be my short yardage guy. And that's not a knock on him. I'm saying he's really good in short yardage. Like to me, that's his strength as a running back. So that's kind of how I would do it. And then out of those two, I don't know yet. I really don't know. I haven't seen enough because you're talking about, 5 carries each last night, roughly, or whatever it is, maybe 6, 7, I don't know. But it's not a big enough sample size for me to say, like, I like this guy better than the other.
No, you don't. And it's not enough to get anybody locked in, like you said. And then, the kid, guys, help me out with his name, who came in late to look really good against
Engelman.
Yeah. And so he's somebody that was mentioned in media day as a back. I guess it was my interview with the running backs coach that could be really good in the future. So I don't know. Did he show enough last night to get more carries? I mean, he only got so many freaking carries to go around. So I don't know. This is something they probably need to work out more in practice. But do you, Matt, is it going to get worse before it gets better? Or are they going to add a fourth guy to the rotation?
Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. And like, that's just kind of the reality of it. And it seems like it's really tough. I think the coaches are trying to be loyal to everybody and they're trying to do the right thing. Right. But like, it's just not going to work long term. I'm sorry. It's just not like, I like having the depth, but you have got to find a way, to see it in practice and narrow it down to 2. I just don't see it as a good thing.
No doubt. And I would ask you guys, speaking of, so Matt, you had that great take, and mine, I want to get y'all's take on more than one kicker.
Hold on, Dave. I didn't get my shot at running back here.
I'm sorry.
No, JR.
We said we're cutting down the running back
some
rotation.
takes on this. I understand what Matt's saying, but honestly, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I think we got 3 great guys, and maybe we have 4 or 5 great guys, and I think we're going to see more than 2 guys carrying the ball. But what I'm more intrigued by was the starting lineup on offense. There was no Yannick Smith, and I'm thinking, oh boy, did he get hurt, or is he suspended, or is there something I don't know about? But what they did was they lined up in a double tight end set with Mason Brown, who's someone that didn't even play against NC State, and I don't know much about he's a junior, I know that, but other than that, I don't know much about him. And then later in the second quarter, he was in like an H-back position. And Marlon Gunn's touchdown, he should give the ball to Mason Brown because he laid down a nice block for him. So I think there's a concerted effort to maybe switch things up a little bit to get our running game going. And I don't know who Mason Brown is. I mean, I do now, but I appreciate his efforts. And, he wasn't one of those 22 guys that caught a pass or ran the ball or anything, but I think he'll be a contributor in the future.
Do you guys think that it's a matter of do you guys think that Matt, I was going to add something else, that it's a matter of those 3 guys, there hasn't been really a guy to really separate himself from, like, to be the primary back. So you have 3 guys that are, not saying that we have no talent. I'm saying that we have 3 really good guys and nobody's really broke it open.
Unless you mean in practice, Dave, I don't think they've given anybody an opportunity to. It's because of the amount of carries, like Matt said. I agree with him. You're getting 5 guys. You got 5 guys. Excuse me. One guy 5 carries, another guy 5 carries, another guy 5. How do you figure out who it is? I mean, nobody's having that opportunity to get lathered up to really get in a sync with the running game. So maybe it's at practice that they're not seeing it. Nobody's stepping up, so they're having this rotation. But I like a rotation. I like having depth, but I like to have one primary back, and I'd go for a step further than Matt. So 2 primary backs. I like to have one primary back than 3 really good backups that you can kind of sub in and out to back up your primary back. But in terms of in game, I don't think they've given. If you had 2 guys out there getting the majority of the carries, then you might be able to figure it out. But when you're rotating it between 3 guys, 5 guys, there's no way you can't tell. I think Montgomery looks the most explosive. There's something about Parker Jenkins I just like.
I do like him.
I think he's got some abilities that we haven't quite realized yet. Now, something tells me he's going to catch a big screen play at one point and do something big in the passing game. Gunn, I love Gunn's attitude. But I'm like Matt. So far, he looks like he's best in short yardage. So maybe use him situationally. I would say if he's healthy, though, he's probably the most durable of the three. Although Parker does have a little bit more size to him than Montgomery. So, but we'll see. But somebody, it was Dave was about to bring up using. Dave was about to bring up using two kickers.
Yeah,
And,
I think maybe
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to throw it out there to you guys. I realized that my understanding has been two or three guys in the kicker. And I don't honestly, when you're up that big, I want to see guys get, their touches, or in this particular case, get their opportunities to kick, because what if Conrad goes down and you have Perez? And I think
Conrad didn't kick last week. It was the New Hampshire New Hampshire transfer.
Yeah.
And then this week,
Yeah.
Conrad kicked. So does anybody know what that's about? Is it just an open competition in practice each week?
Well, you know what, Kyle? I look back at last season, and it was pretty much the same deal. Like, there was a lot of rotating as far as the starting kicker, but they did let Nick kick the last 2 extra points.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
they both played. I mean, Noah Perez, not Nick. Noah Perez kicked the last 2 extra points.
The kid that kicked last week, the transfer, didn't kick it all
Nick,
this past week.
Amazing.
Yeah, he didn't get any looks this week.
Is he injured, or because he kicked well at
I mean, he missed a field goal, but it was a relatively long one.
Exactly.
I think what they're doing. This is my guess, based on the rotating last season, and now they're already doing it this season. I'm thinking they're just going with a hot foot. Whoever's looking best, in practice the week before. I think they're going with their gut and going with that guy. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure out.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a philosophy, Johnny, in this crazy transfer portal age where you're trying to keep everybody happy. Is this a philosophy?
Philosophy from who? We got a brand new defensive coordinator.
No, Matt, that's crossed my mind.
I'm talking about kickers, though. Rotating.
Matt, that has actually crossed my mind. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because that validates my thinking a little bit. And I don't know that that's the reason, but it would make sense. But I don't know that that's the right way to do things. But
we did it last year, but you said philosophy. We did it last year too. We got a new special teams coordinator. We got a new head coach. I mean, he was coach second half of last year, but I don't know. That's weird to me. It could be just that all three guys, have started, and all three guys have had success. And so they are just playing the hot hand, and until one guy solidifies it, they may just be going whoever the hot hand is that week in practice, like you said.
Well, look, we had so many years, especially after Montgomery's tenure, where we didn't have enough talent and or depth, and now we have a situation where, is it possible? What crossed my mind in the press box last night? Is it possible we have? I know I'm crazy to say this. Can you have too much talent where you're doing that very thing where you're like, oh God, I got to have this guy and this guy,
Well, it could be a situation where they haven't decided on kicker. It could be that simple too, where they let Nick kick against State, and so we saw Conrad and Perez against Campbell, and we're trying to, we'll continue the competition this week. That's a great question for since my teal field question was made fun of. That's a great question for Alan Vick to ask at the press conference this week. What's the situation with kickers? We've played 3 so far. Is going to continue to rotate, or are we going to settle on one? What's the deal?
Look, the kid from New Hampshire had a proven track record coming here. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think we talked about Kyle, maybe somebody read off his stats, but I mean, look, he had a proven track record. So I don't know we brought him here to kick. So to me,
I think, Matt, you have a Northeastern bias. That's what I think.
It could be. I mean, look, that is definitely true in some regards, especially when it comes to Italian food. But as Kyle knows, yeah. Anyway,
Alex says, I don't care if we use Gus, the field goal kicking mule, as long as the ball goes to the uprights. I'm sorry.
If you're some younger people out there, you won't get that reference. But yeah, me and Dave are old, so we
Yeah.
know that reference. Johnny, I'm not saying you're old or anything, but you probably get that reference too, right?
To what? What's that, Stevie?
Gus, the field goal.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Thanks, Alan.
Stevie, I don't get it.
I don't think JR got the reference. He just wanted to.
Kyle and Matt didn't get it.
No.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
an old
movie.
Disney movie, guys, from back when we were kids. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I do kind of care who's kicking it, and as long as they're making it, that's good. But I'd like to know why we are rotating kickers. But
Well, I did like what somebody said. Where's that? Kenny Curlin's comment down here at 908, Dave. This was a game to let more players play. That includes kickers. This was a game to find out, let some guys get on the field, get experience. I mean, what else could you do? You couldn't, like I said, we went through the third string. I heard Doc Walker. I don't know, Matt, I know you watched the game. Doc Walker was really good last night. Yeah, he was talking about how many players, how much they went through, like the third string. And when he got to Campbell, I think Campbell's third string running quarterback got out there. And I forget the other guy's name, but he was talking about the guy was talking about where that third string quarterback came from. Doc Walker said, "I'm sorry, I didn't go that deep into Campbell. I didn't think we'd be seeing Campbell's third string quarterback up here." So, but yeah, and Doc Walker made a lot of good comments. Got a lot of compliments for ECU too. He was really impressed with the defense. Like Matt, I meant to say that earlier when Matt was talking about how they get after the ball, and Doc Walker said the same thing last night. This ECU defense really gets to the ball quick, and they're in the right place at the right time. And, I mean,
You guys were when you were talking about Matt, Kyle, when you were talking about the defense, about players, Matt, is it a situation where this could be where we kind of got the sense of media day? You think it's spin or coach speak when you hear about, there's not the names that you expect on D line, but they're really getting at it. And then Coach Aldridge told me right there when we were at the kickoff luncheon, I was talking about the D line. He looked at me right straight in the face and said, the positions on defense, D line is not the one I'm concerned with. So is it what my point is they were kind of making the point that there's a lot of good guys, like good players. Maybe you don't have the great players or the ones that are maybe going to the NFL, but you have guys that are playing really well together in sync, and they're playing together as a unit. And would you rather have that or two or three guys that are going to the NFL and we have the problems we've had in the past?
Defensively, I love to see a lot of guys play. And, is my thing on defense is like, as long as you're keeping people out of the end zone, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have your quote unquote superstar players. But if you have a bunch of guys who can get it done on game day, that's fine. And you know what? Like, that's kind of the way so far it appears like. But I do think as we get into conference play, you're going to start. Obviously, yesterday was an exception. Like,
right.
Yesterday was just kind of a rare case. But as we get into conference play, I think you're going to start to see substitutions decrease a little bit. But you'll still you'll still be rotating two guys at every position.
Yeah. Robert says, by the way, guys, Harold's super focused on conference battles continue in non-league games, position battles.
I mean, against Campbell, yeah, but I mean, you can't do that as we, Coastal and then BYU after that. So this was the game to do that, yes, for sure. But things, get more serious, get serious next week or this coming week as we travel down to Conway to take on Coastal, who, I know they haven't looked great so far. Getting blown out by UVA. Yesterday they did shut out Charleston Southern, but only put up was it 13 points?
13 points? Yeah,
13 points.
Nothing.
So their offense has not clicked yet. New offense coordinator, new defense coordinator. It looks to me like they're trying to run an air raid type system, and they're still learning it. They don't switch quarterbacks up on us and suddenly look like Texas Tech under Mike Leach. But that's really this game to me. You lose to NC State, you beat Campbell. What it is. Who cares? Glad we won, but to get excited, go on the road against Coastal this coming weekend and win that game, and hopefully win it convincingly. Although, we opened a 6.5-point favorites. Assuming the line as big as 8. So Matt, I know you were talking earlier. You think we should win it by 30. I'm not sure just yet that we can beat any FBS team that on our schedule by 30 just yet. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we'll see that this weekend and we will dominate Coastal. But this is a game that we've got to win. This is a must win with BYU coming to town and then Army, who I told everybody don't write Army off just yet. And they turned out to be Kansas State. This is a must-win game to me, with BYU and Army coming up after that. And not to say we can't beat BYU and Army, but this is if you lose to Coastal, you damn sure don't feel good about beating BYU or Army. So we need to go handle our business this coming up weekend down in Conway, and I hope a lot of Pirates make the trip down there.
It's sold out, by the way, guys.
Is it officially sold out now?
Yeah, I saw an email. It was sold out.
Okay, I knew it was sold out. We sold our ticket allotment, and as of late last week, you could still buy tickets through Coastal. So glad to hear that it's sold out. I would encourage everybody to check, go to Coastal's website and make sure if you're still thinking about going and got tickets yet. But I would expect, I think their allotment they allowed us was around 1,800 tickets. JR, I don't know if you know that for sure, Matt, Dave, anybody. But I believe it was 1,800. So then you figure we sold at least 2,000. I think we'll have at least 4,000 to 5,000 fans down there. Stadium only holds 20,000. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to going to Conway, personally going down there, but just looking forward to getting a meaningful win on the road. We need to get this game.
Yep. No doubt. And Kyle, who was the person that called you about that Army game?
Well, I already knew Kansas State had won, but Army had beaten Kansas State. Yeah, but you called me right after that and mentioned how I pointed that out, that nobody should give up on Army just yet. Tarleton State.
I listened to you last week because I agreed with you that when I was up there at West Point last year, and I know we were playing a Mike Houston offense, but I was just like, man, don't get and I have respect obviously for the service academies. Maybe I have a little bias there. But I was
Kansas State struggled. They looked good against Iowa State, but they struggled last week with North Dakota.
Kyle, I was going to agree with you on that. I think they're not as good as people think they are, honestly.
K-State, yeah. I don't think they are either. Still a really nice win for Army.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Hey, I just want to throw this out there real quick. Army, you talk about, I've never seen a disparity like this in time of possession. Army had the ball for 40 minutes and 30 seconds and 19 minutes and 30 seconds for Kansas State. I mean, that's a 21-minute difference. That's crazy. But what I was going to say is Army, I'm not impressed with them at all because now they've gone to their second quarterback on the season. They replaced the first guy they started with. Now they're with Cale Helms, and he ran it 41 times for 124 yards, which is only 3 yards a carry. I mean, that's not Army football. That's
good God.
Yeah.
That's not Army football.
Yeah. And I'll just say this too, like one thing I've learned over the years with the academies in particular, the first game of the season, even the first few games, is not nearly an indication of what they're going to become. That triple option or whatever type of offense, whatever the term is you want to call it nowadays, it takes a little time to get rolling. And you see this all the time with the academies where they start off really slow the first week or two, and then by mid-season, they're a totally different team. So I agree with you guys. Like anybody who's like just basing Army's season off of Tarleton State, I'm telling you, you're making a mistake because we see this all the time with the academies. They start slow. By the fourth or fifth game, they're going to look very different. But what does give me, I would say, a lot of confidence to your point, Johnny, is that the quarterback is not nearly as good as we saw last year. That kid was unbelievable.
How in the world did they dominate time of possession like that with a quarterback only averaging a little over 3 yards a carry?
You know why, Kyle? They were getting like 11 yards of possession, like 3.5, 3, 4.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
they were
that's
never
irritating.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They weren't
You would
like that's
you would think just as Terry Gallagher would call it, the what term that he used to use for long drives like that, he had a term for it, but basically it was the
Death
FU
march.
philosophy. It was,
Hey,
no, it's when you have that long of a drive, it repeatedly in a game, you're eventually going to f up.
yeah,
So I'm surprised that Army never doing that, never turned the ball over or anything that cost. That's wow, that's an irritating way to lose a football game.
I agree. Hey, real quick, we're talking about service academies. Navy, Blake Horvath. This is what Navy does. He completed 6 passes the entire game for 168 yards and a touchdown. That's 28 yards per completion. That's what Navy does to you. They run, and then they throw over top. So
Yeah, that was a good win over UAB. That game was tied at halftime. And this is going to be it for homie down at UAB. He's going to get fired after this year, but that was a good win for UAB in conference. When we're talking about conference play, obviously the big one in conference, even trumping the Army over Kansas State, was South Florida beating Florida. So here's the point I want to make, and JR, we were talking about this earlier. So you're South Florida. You've beaten Boise. You've beaten Florida. You're 18th in the country. You're set, baby. Roll on through conference play. But now what have you done? You've overscheduled, and you got Miami next week. So here's what's going to happen. Despite beating Boise and Florida, I believe they're 16-point dogs to Miami. So in all likelihood, you ain't going to beat Miami. So let's just pretend they don't. All right, that's fine. It's fine. It's the final. So what? You lost to Miami. You're 2-1. You're still on top 25. Now you got to navigate and I don't know what their fourth non-conference game is. To be sure, it's easy. But now you got to navigate your way through conference schedule with likely a loss to Miami. Now you stub your toe in conference and you're 10-2. So that's what I mean by overscheduling. They had done enough. They've done enough. They've beaten Boise. They've beaten Florida. They've done enough where if they win the American, they're making the playoff. But now they're going to lose to Miami most likely, which ain't going to hurt them unless they go stub their toe somewhere in conference play.
yeah. Hey, Kyle, they're the only team in the nation that have beat a ranked team in the first 2 weeks of the season, and now they're the only team in the nation to play 3 ranked teams the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like
Because it's stupid.
Yes, it's just like when we beat Virginia Tech, West Virginia, and then we had to go play NC State. It's too much. It's too much. And Miami's really, really good.
Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hey Matt. So I was thinking about you this morning because check this out. I want to give you the over, and I'm going to ask you this question. The over under, what game does Billy Napier get fired? Listen to this schedule, guys. All right, you had USF, which they may have overscheduled, being Florida, guys, because check this out. Next week, probably arguably the best team in the country. They're number 3. They have at LSU. They have number 3 LSU. Number 5, speaking of Miami, they go to Miami for a non-conference game on the 20th. They have Texas at home, and then number 7, and they have Texas A&M on the road. Then they're still going to have. Check this out. They have Florida State at the end of the game, end of the season, and they have Florida and Georgia. I mean, I'm looking at guys. They would be lucky to have 5 and 7, 4 and 8. So
yeah,
Menza, where is Chrissy like on that field goal? Was Chrissy like throwing things, or I mean?
Oh yeah, the Florida fan base is like irate right now, and rightfully so. I mean, look, Billy Napier is in serious trouble. He was in trouble last year, and he kind of salvaged it in the back end of the season a little bit, but he's in trouble. And I think the thing is, like with Napier, is with all the talent Florida gets, especially like think about the skill positions that Florida, the receivers and the running backs over the years, and the great quarterbacks, and they cannot score, more than what did they score yesterday? What, 16 points? Did they even
18, 16.
18, 16. I mean, that's awful. And then, but it was like a complete team breakdown yesterday. I mean, if you watched South Florida's last possession, they had to go like 90 yards. Florida bailed them out with a PI, gave them a first down. And then one of Florida's players, the next series, spit in a player's face on South Florida.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, what's the deal with that this week? But
I mean, I would bench that kid's ass. He gave them a first down and a 15-yard penalty. That kid wouldn't be seeing the field for a long time for me, but 15 yards for spitting in a player's face. I mean, they have a lot of problems down there right now.
He ran off. Hey, Matt, didn't he run as soon as he spit in the player's face? Didn't he run off the field like, yeah, I know I screwed up? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
what the game?
You gotta like have some control over yourself on the football field. Like, I know it's an emotional game, but like, who the hell? Like, why would you spit in a player's face? You saw this the other night in the NFL game.
Yeah,
like the first possession of the
before
game.
the game even started.
Yeah, the best player of the defense for Dallas does it. Like, what the heck are you doing?
What? You got guys making millions of dollars and doing that, but yeah, they got big problems. I mean, like that schedule you just mentioned, Dave. I mean, good Lord, I would not envy anybody playing that schedule.
So Kyle always says like Murder's Road. To me, that's over scheduling because
those are conference games. They ain't responsible for scheduling LSU and all that. They're going to play Miami and they're going to play Florida State.
I'm just saying that, but USF is no joke.
Well, they didn't know that when they scheduled them because when they scheduled them, they were a joke. I
know that, but I'm just saying that's the problem is that they were a joke, but you don't. That's when you schedule them.
Well, look, and this is coming from an East Carolina fan, and I'll say this because Florida ain't NC State and they ain't UNC. Florida should always be better than South Florida. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. You're talking about one of the greatest football programs in the country. They should always be better than South Florida. So, I mean, South Florida's good this year. They're really good, and that's another thing. I don't. Florida take them as serious as they should.
Hey, Matt, and we'll get back to East Carolina and the conference and everything. But, Matt, as far as Napier is concerned, what the heck is going on with you see this with Florida now? And I get the Florida fans being upset because, as Kyle said, to his point, they are very good. They're one of the best programs there, Blue Blood. They're one of the best programs in the whole country. And then it just seems like all the coaches in recent modern times are just really struggling there. And like Kyle said, I've always heard, and I want to get to help me out for people because I actually like Gainesville. It's a great college town like Greenville. And the Swamp, I haven't been inside there, but I've been around it. Really cool atmosphere. The whole town is great. Like I said, it's a college town. And it just seems like the underperforming is it recruiting? Is it, as far as talent? What is it that they keep having the same? My point is you can keep switching coaches, but like even though they're switching coaches, it seems like they have similar or the same results.
I'll give you my take. I mean, I think it's just that the offensive identity I think is terrible. Like when you think of Florida, you think about Steve Spurrier, you think about electric offenses, great receivers, running backs, offenses that move up and down the field, and you're slinging the ball.
Gun.
Yeah, the fun and gun. I mean, like that's what Florida should be. Just like we talked about last week, Coastal they were idiots for going away from that spread option system. For whatever reason, they hurt their own program. And Florida's the same. What they need to do is they need to go back to a high octane offense and be who you are. Let you recruit. You could roll out of bed in the morning as a Florida head coach and bring in 5-star players without putting in an ounce of work. They come to you. So, dude, go play high octane offensive football. Throw the ball. Get some quarterbacks who can throw it and go to work. It shouldn't be that hard.
That's what it's an anomaly for me. I don't understand because you had with Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier, they got it done. So I'm just struggling not to make this about the whole show, guys. I apologize. Those that want to hear about ECU football, but as far as the college football landscape, it just like they're having. I can look at all the coaches they've had recently. But I guess what you could argue is it's a really bad situation. Matt, is it a situation also with coaching? They're picking the wrong coaches. I mean, it's not the right fit.
I mean, Johnny might be able to have the stat, but if you look at Billy Napier's record prior to Florida, like it was off the charts good. So, It is surprising to me that he struggled so much. I think where his mistake is his OC. I mean, I think he's a good head coach. I just think that he's not running the right offensive system, and that's my takeaway. I mean, I don't know, Johnny. Do you remember his record before he took that job? I mean, it was like absurd.
Down in Lafayette, yeah, he was dominating. I do not, Matt. I don't have that commitment.
Double-digit wins.
Yeah, he did.
Every year. Yeah,
he did.
It just hasn't worked. It's not a good fit. And look, here's the thing: the coach prior to Billy Napier at Louisiana did a great job too, and he got ran out of town for some rules violations.
Okay, since Coach Urban Meyer, they've had Will Muschamp, DJ Durkin. Well, he was and DJ was a interim coach, but then Jim McElwain, Randy Shannon, Dan Mullen, Greg Knotts was an interim after Mullen got fired, and then Napier. So they really haven't had anybody since Urban Meyer that was considered, cream of the crop.
No, that's way too many names.
Napier's record before he got to Florida was 40-12.
Yeah, wow. That's solid. That's solid.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's get off Florida. Let's talk about some other things real fast. We need to start wrapping this up. There was some other upsets of note yesterday. Ohio over West Virginia. First of all, West Virginia going to Athens, Ohio. I don't know how the hell that happened, but good for the University of Ohio. They sold that game out. Upset the Thunder and Herd. I'll get to that one in a minute. They upset the Mountaineers. It's a huge win for Ohio, huge win for the MAC. Speaking of the Thunder and Herd, Missouri State, their first season at FBS, they're in Conference USA now. Missouri State goes to Huntington and upsets Marshall, which was a huge win for Missouri State. I think Marshall's just awful. Made a huge mistake there with their decision not to retain their head coaches at Southern Miss now. So that was another big upset. And other things I wanted to touch on, guys, before we get out of here. One, by the way, per the Coastal Carolina website, the game is not sold out, so you can still buy tickets through Coastal Carolina. So if you're on the fence about going in and get your tickets yet, go to Coastal Carolina Athletics credit account, and you can still get tickets. It is not sold out. Two, I talked about this on Pirate Radio last night, and I'm going to mention it again here. My big complaint from last night.
God, I know where this is going.
Yeah, well, if you'd have been there last night, Stevie, you'd agreed. The music on third down. Well, first of all, the music wasn't very good. There was a couple spots in the game where I thought they did a good job selecting music. Late in the game, they played in between, plays at some point. They played some 80s rock that was good. But on third down, look, last year we had a horrible third down song that, yeah, 10 toes in when you're standing on business. It was just freaking horrible. Horrible. Now this year is the foghorn followed by just random music. It's just like pieces of songs. Are we that stupid? Look, John, who in the hell is ever in charge of game day operations? Gilbert. Somebody, please, just God Almighty. If you of the songs that were played last night on third down, the only one that was any good was Never Scared by Bone Crusher. But they didn't even play the good part of that. So look, here's what you do. Here's what you do. And I swear to God, if we do this crap again at the BYU game, I'm gonna slap somebody. I'm threatening to slap someone. A random person's getting slapped. Nobody banned me from the game. I'm not slapping anyone. But look, I swear to God, third down, either go back what we had under Skip and under Ruffin, the Undertaker music, followed by the ARG.
Yeah.
Go back to that. I personally would love For Who the Bell Tolls by Metallica. Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest third down songs out there.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking about this, guys. We already have a song that's a traditional. Welcome to the Jungle. We played it for the no quarter, started the fourth quarter. Play the opening of Welcome to the Jungle. The lead of the
just a rip. Yeah.
Yes, just play that. Or as somebody mentioned on the fifth quarter college show last night, go back to what they did Holton's senior year. That dun 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 dun. Any of that, anything would be better than what they did last night. Anything. Literally, me up here going dun, 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 would be better on third down.
Kyle on the scoreboard.
Yeah, anything. So please, for the love of God, fix the third down music situation. Give
we
me a
hired
call.
We
Yeah, we hired the Hurricane. Look, it's like Holton said last night on the show. DJ Captain Morgan's already there. So
Exactly.
I mean, what's the point? What are we doing?
Guys,
Se- second point I want to make. I'll say a positive. Last night, before the game started, the Purple Gold chant. Rajay Harris being introduced and leading the Purple Gold cheer. More of that. More
Yes, sir.
former players leading chants. Get them up on the scoreboard. If you can't, if we're too friggin' stupid to figure out a good third down song, you morons, just get a former player up on the scoreboard telling everybody get loud, get loud. It's third down, get loud. How in the hell can we not pick a third down song?
You know we're winning.
Look, call me. Whoever's in charge of that, call me. I'll send you a list of 5. Choose one.
There's gonna be a big meeting tomorrow morning.
I hate to look. This kind of crap like this irritates the piss out of me because it's so simple. How do you screw it up?
Not only that,
And also for the video intros, the music needs to be louder, guys. The intro videos last night and all that. I don't know, Jr. Well, Dave, you were in the press box. Jr. Did you think for the intro videos and stuff the music was loud enough? I did not.
No, and my wife commented the same, Kyle. So it's unanimous.
Yes. She commented the same on the music not being loud enough and the words for the intro video.
Yeah,
How did you feel about the horrible third down music?
Well, she wasn't paying attention to that, I don't think. But I agree with you 100%.
So
That's ridiculous.
What's better than a good Kyle rant, by the way?
Nothing.
I just shut up and get out of the way.
By the way, Preston Carr's dad, right before the Pirate Walk, he said, "You look familiar." And I said, "I'm Dave Richmond from the Sportsman." "That's where I know you from." He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "You never know what Kyle is going to say." And he's talked about how, and I'm drawing a blank. I'm doing a Kyle right now. I know his name, and it'll come to me after we finish the show. But anyway,
Mr.
Carr, thank you, sir. Yeah, and for me personally, I will tell you a couple things. First of all, did you guys notice not having scales, how they put the new is that the new tailgate area? They're calling it premium tailgate area, I guess that's what it's called. Did y'all notice that?
I didn't make it over that way.
I will say this, it's not a left-handed compliment. I was a big fan of the Scales Fieldhouse. I knew that it had outlived its time, just like I think that we need to get rid of the Ward Sports Medicine building, in my opinion, but that should be next, but that's a whole nother story. But I will give John Gilbert, Ryan Robinson, J.D. McLean, everybody credit. I was thoroughly impressed with that. I think it's a great idea. We'll see how they use that. But it does have a very nice look. They had a huge television out there. It was very, very nice. So I have to, first of all, give them credit where credit's due, because I know they think that all we do is come up here and complain. But that one, guys, that's one of my hot takes. The other, Matt, I'm glad on television it looked good, brother, but I'm going to tell you something right now. The crowd sucked last night. The crowd absolutely sucked as far as the numbers. Check this out. Yeah, it did.
We had 35,000. It wasn't as good as it should have been.
And
I think we had 40 for Norfolk State.
It was close to 37. It wasn't 40.
But it was not good. And we did have the best student attendance we've had. We had Coach Harrell even said we had 10,000 student ticket requests. We had 10,000 students. Usually we're picking on the students and they leave and all that. So we have a great student section last night. But after halftime, if you go back, I was there, man. After halftime, it was pitiful. It looked like that we were getting blown out 56-3 or 49-3 or whatever,
I did notice that, Dave. You have a good point there.
I agree that it's Campbell. I get that. But let me tell you something. I looked at Alan Vick last night. I said, this was my exact quote. What the hell else are you going to do on a Friday night? I live for these games just like you guys. I'm preaching.
It was Saturday, Dave.
What else are you going to do I said the wrong night. What else are you going to do on a Saturday night? And so
it's great.
The ladies, No, I mean, I agree. Everybody should have said I say till the end, like I always do, unless we're getting blown out. So, but look, I'm not going to fault the students. They're young. They're going to go out and party.
No, I'm talking about they were.
Oh, the grown folks. Oh, we got the Geritol crowd that if it's over 80 degrees or if we're up by more than 3 touchdowns, they're leaving. So I try to stay to the end. I encourage everybody else to, but we can't control that.
I know that.
So
Right.
it's I do agree that they should have stayed to the end. I want to make a couple more comments on game day atmosphere. Then I'm done. I thought the graphics on the Tailback side.
Oh,
Guys, am I still here? I just got a phone call that interrupted me.
that's what happened. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. On the graphics on the Tailback Tower side of the stage. If it happens again, guys, I'm gonna have to go. The graphics on the Tailback Tower side of the stadium, I didn't make it over on that side, but I saw pictures. They look great. That's a huge improvement to the stadium, to the look.
Yeah.
I thought concessions, the lines moved fine. Crowd wasn't that big, but the stands, the lines moved fine. So from that aspect, just trying to pick out some positives because I complained about the third down music. The band is kind of what it. I don't know. I'm not going to get into every damn aspect of the game day, but third down music's got to improve, guys. I'm sorry. I had a point I was going to try to make more in depth, but my sister's called my phone twice. So, guys, I am going to hop off of here so I can call her back.
Hello, Heather.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Or I'll just.
All right. Hey, Kyle, I got a comment to make about you. So re-listen after you hang up because I'm going to talk about you after you hang up.
Go ahead. I'll stay on. Go ahead, JR.
Okay. Well, Matt mentioned that he lives for your rants, and then Dave mentioned that someone approached him before the Pirate Walk and said they love Kyle. But I had somebody at my tailgate say, this is no joke. I'm not joking or trying to be funny, but Kyle's one of the smartest people in local media. I love listening to his takes. And I really thought that was, that really hit me because I feel the same way. You know, you're so much more than rants. You really do have good thoughts on things that are different than other people. But so I just want to throw that out there.
I appreciate it, JR, and I'll pay you later.
The only thing Kyle can't do is he needs to work on his fake Northern Italian accent.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Other than that,
It's like Kevin Costner from Robin Hood.
I'm not even going to do it on the air now. I did it enough off the air for Matt earlier. I'm going to work on that and perfect it. I want to hear Stevie's. Stevie, can you do another accent?
Well, I'm from Northern Virginia already, so I mean, why can't
you can tell by the way you talk.
He's going to be in Maryland next week. He's going to be from Landover.
I'm surprised I'm not out of the country yet in Canada.
It's coming later. But guys, I'm going to hop off of here. I hate to leave the show a couple minutes early. We're going to be wrapping it up soon anyway, but I do need to call my sister back. I know exactly what she's calling. We got some family issues going on.
Okay.
So I'm going to call her back, and everybody go to Conway. Let's take Myrtle Beach over. Look, I do want to get this out. If we beat Coastal this coming Saturday night, look, there's nothing like cruising the Boulevard for those of us who grew up in the Carolinas. They know what cruising the Boulevard means down in Myrtle Beach. So shagging dancing on the Boulevard.
That's
Go ahead,
right.
Steve. So what we're going to do, if we beat Coastal next Saturday night, I want all the Pirate fans that are in Conway, put your flags up and let's go cruise the Boulevard. I want about 1,000 ECU flags flying as we cruise the Boulevard Saturday night. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got, guys. And enjoy the rest of the podcast. Enjoy your week, everybody, and go Pirates.
All right, no doubt. We guys, can we take a few more questions and comments really quick before we get out of here?
Yeah. Love
all
it.
right. I do too. I'm sorry. Kenny had let me bring this up. Sorry about that, guys. What are the weaknesses of Coastal on defense that the offense can jump on? I'll pitch to you guys because I'm going to be working on Coastal this week. I haven't had it really, to be honest. I am Campbell. So if y'all have anything you know, I'll. We do have the preview on Wednesday night. By the way, I'll that. So
this is not going to make Kenny happy because I started to prepare for Wednesday night, but I started with offense Coastal's offense, not their defense. So I don't have an answer for them, but their offense, man, they do not throw the ball down the field at all. So we just need to contain them. No, seriously, he's their quarterback played at NC State and Maryland the previous 2 seasons, and he's thrown 33 completed passes this year. 17 of them were behind the line of scrimmage, and 27 of them were for 9 yards or less.
Ooh.
He's only thrown it 20 yards or deeper 2 times, or
Wow.
they've thrown it 11 times, 2 completions out of 11 times, and only for 46 yards. So I think we just got to contain the short game with him. I'm not worried about him beating us down the field.
Yeah. Kenny also says, hey, guys, we also won the tailgate on Saturday. It was one for the book. It looked really great. The tailgating was definitely spot on. Alan Vick and I were talking about this last night. Big guy for ECU Hall of Fame immediately. Big guy, Matt Maloney. Those of you know Matt, let's put him in the Hall of Fame. I told Ryan Robinson last night on the club level, well, we need to put him in the Hall of Fame. Let's don't wait to like Terry Holland where they pass away. Jeff Charles was a tragic situation where he had a heart attack at Tulane a few years ago, as you know. So obviously they couldn't do anything about that. Put Matt Maloney in the Hall of Fame, please. I love that guy. He's not, whatever he's not getting paid nearly enough. And he was a swimmer in South Carolina. Some of y'all may know his backstory. And he's been with us since like 1991. I think the Peach Bowl or the year before. And he's still there. He could have retired, but yet he got here. He's like 62, 63 years old. He's still relatively young. Why not go ahead and put him in the Hall of Fame for his commitment to East Carolina? You would think he was at South Carolina, like his own school, the way that he treats he's everywhere, man. Interesting point here from Noah. Want to get your thoughts on this. I wish we had the money to build a new stadium, renovate our stadium to a 35 to 40,000 capacity. We would sell out pretty much every game. I want to get your take on that.
Well,
I don't think that's a good idea because when we do have, if Blake Harrell, by the way, is 6-2 as a head coach, Johnny, I double checked my math on that.
Okay.
I'm trying to do better with stats. I'm trying to help you out, Johnny, because, but he's 6-2 as a Pirate. That goes back obviously to last year as a skipper. And so let's say that he keeps this train rolling. Eventually, and like with BYU, that's potentially a sellout or, in the high 40s. So you don't want to have it where I understand what you're saying, Noah. But you need to have the capacity there, the inventory to be able to have one of those games because that's a source of revenue for us.
I think I love our stadium. I think it's fantastic. And, look, here's the thing I'll say, like, if we take care of Coastal like we should next week, and I'm just going to say it like in the plain English, Coastal is a terrible football team, guys. Like, they are not good. And I was shocked at the line today.
What's the line? I was going to ask that. What's the line?
It opened at 6.5, which I thought was kind of
really.
Yeah,
that's it.
So we should take care of business in a big way next week. And then my point is circling back to Dowdy is that you come back after that Coastal game. If we have a big win, that stadium should be sold out for BYU. It should be sold out because BYU is going to be undefeated. They're going to be coming in here ready to go. They actually I'm pretty sure they have a bye week this week coming up. So they have 2 weeks to prepare for us.
Yep. And a week schedule so far.
Yeah, a very weak schedule so far. So that's a huge opportunity for ECU, a huge opportunity. So I just hope that we're able to pack out that stadium. And honestly, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't, because that's a winnable game.
No doubt. That we got to have. I thought about that last night, guys, when I was walking back to my vehicle after the press conference and thinking about what it would be like to have 51,000 screaming Pirate fans, or most of them Pirate fans. There's a lot of BYU, as you guys know, is like the Mormon university for the national. It's like the Notre Dame for Mormons. I mean, it's a national fan base. And when I saw them a few years ago, it was like, wow, I didn't realize how big of a crowd they had. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge, huge crowd, but it's going to be way more than usually. It'll be way more than just the typical opponent crowd coming to Dowdy. So keep that in mind. We'd rather have purple and gold there. Let's see. Okay, here's one this is for Stevie. Stevie's crew for Friday night is horrible. He says, this is Justin Butts. So many people are commenting. Hang on, it won't let me. He said, I feel for you, Stevie. And he also says that to Kyle's point about Coastal, if we win, he'll take the QA down the boulevard. How about that? Oh my God, that would be awesome. But yeah, that for some reason now I can't get the comments, but maybe there's more coming. But yeah, there we go. Let me there. All right, I got it now. Sorry. Let's see. Boy, they are really coming in, guys. If we get it really quick here. If we beat Coastal Saturday night, I don't care what time the BYU game is. I want to see ECU Stadium, Dowdy Fickle sold out. This is what Philip's saying. There should be no excuses not to sell at the stadium for BYU. Absolutely. For the fact, the casual fan that doesn't care about East Carolina, that maybe from Greenville or the Eastern North Carolina, you got obviously the passionate fan base. Plus you have, like I said, the BYU national fan base. Really, really good. And Philip says he thinks there should be more seats, not less. Let's see. 0 fumbles forced and recovered. Robert says, I think we should bowl the stadium, Philip says. That was by the way, to make that point to you guys, that was years ago. That was a long-term plan, Philip, is to move so please forgive me. I'm just telling you what it used to be. I don't know the master plan now. So, but the Murphy Center, they were going to essentially move the Murphy Center back to closer where the indoor practice facility is, closing that side. I don't think they do that now until we have 50,000 on the regular. Let's see. Kenny says we don't step back, we move forward. Talking about the stadium. When will they announce the game time? I was going to ask you guys that. Is it tomorrow they'll announce the game time for BYU?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I would think so.
All right. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, selfishly, I mean, it would be awesome to have a night game, Kenny. But I think, I'm telling you, if it's a hot day in Eastern North Carolina and we get them early in that heat, that's worth some points for us, man, because I just don't see them traveling across the country and handling that heat well. So even though I would prefer a night game, I think the best thing would be to play them early.
I think you're right, Philip. My guess was it was going to be tomorrow, being Monday. So, guys, do you have anything? I was trying to thank you for all the. Thank you guys so much. There's been so many comments tonight. It's a good problem to have. It's hard to keep up. That's a good problem. So, thank you to all the viewers, listeners. Do you guys have any final comments before we get out of here?
I was gonna jump in when Matt was talking about BYU.
Go for it.
Bear Bachmeyer. I mean, he's played 2 very weak opponents. He only has 272 yards passing in 2 games. I think they're being very gentle with him and that offense because he's a true freshman and a transfer at that, a late transfer.
Right.
I just feel like he's in trouble when he gets to Greenville. That's just we can save that for our BYU preview. But I just want to throw that in there.
Quick guys, lightning on Justin Butts. He says, how do y'all feel about the AAC? The American, Justin, is now, what do y'all think of the American? They don't want us to say AAC anymore. I'm not picking it.
No, they don't.
What do y'all think of the American real quick? I think so far we've been pretty solid.
I'll throw this out there. Evan Simon from Temple, better pay attention to him. He's thrown 27 completed passes and 9 touchdowns. That means he's doing a touchdown pass every 3 completions. They've had a weak schedule, but they're killing people. And, Temple may be a little bit better than what we're used to.
No doubt. Matt, Stevie, we were going to wrap this things up. Do you guys have anything before we get out of here?
Stevie, you go ahead. I have just one thought, but you go ahead, brother.
I just, looking forward to seeing what we can do on the road against Coastal. Hopefully, we'll come by with a big win and really good performance last night, I thought.
Absolutely, man. And just my final thought, I'll tell you, yesterday was like when I looked at the slate of games yesterday, it was not a good slate of games. Like the marquee game, I guess, was
No.
Oklahoma, Michigan, and it was kind of like ugly on paper, but I enjoyed the hell out of yesterday. I mean, there were some crazy things going on yesterday around college football. You know, we talked about the South Florida game, but how about in the fourth quarter, Austin, PA, at Georgia is down 20-6, and they have the ball on Georgia's 3-yard line. All right. Think about that in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, who we're talking about Austin, PA, had a chance to make that a one-score game in the fourth quarter. So they ultimately, lost by, Georgia tacked on another touchdown. And then you look at Troy. Troy was up 17-0 at Clemson. All right.
I saw that.
Crazy stuff. And then a local one up here in the Northeast that, look, UMass is out of respect for our great friend of the show, Rennie and Goglia, who's an awesome dude. We love, Rennie.
Oh, yeah.
UMass is on hard times right now. Bryant beat UMass yesterday, which is that's a tough one. So, yeah, you just look around college football, and there were some crazy things that went on yesterday, and it was interesting to watch.
Baylor SMU, 2 overtimes, 45. What was it? 45-42.
Yeah,
That game was crazy.
about the
Baylor
Michigan-
ran 94 offensive plays. I mean, it was their quarterback is really, really good. Sawyer Robertson. Keep an eye on him. And then, hey, I wanted to mention one more thing. Alabama, they're not dead yet. 73-0 over ULM. And Ty Simpson, their starter, was 17 for 17. As a team, they were 29 for 33, 371 yards and 7 touchdowns. And ULM did nothing on offense. So maybe Bama. Matt, you mentioned that Caleb DeBoer is a better coach than people think. Give him time. I agree with you, and he's showing that you're right on target there.
Well, if he's not, don't worry, though. He'll be ran out of town. I agree with you. He's a great coach, but the jury is still out. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Stevie, brother, appreciate you. Johnny, Matt, Kyle, thanks to all the viewers and listeners. We appreciate you. Don't forget, we have our preview on Wednesday night. So get your predictions ready. Will the Pirates win? We'll give you our predictions. We'll have a preview of Coastal, and I'm very excited about that game on Saturday down in Conway, right south of Myrtle Beach. All right, for all the guys here tonight, we'll get out of here. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.